Alright, so today I'm going to be showing you how to install Windows 11 on any PC with no TPM, no secureboot, and no Microsoft account required. So let's get right into it. Alright, at this point I'm going to assume that you've already used the Windows Media Creation tool and created a bootable drive and then boot into it. So now we are at this screen. So this is a machine that does not have TPM or secure boot, and if we try to install it, see I don't have a product key, I'm going to use the home edition. After I select the Windows version, it's going to say this PC can't run Windows 11, this PC does not meet system requirements. So it's basically just going to tell you it does not meet the requirements, and it's not going to tell you why. But in this case, I know why. It's because this machine does not have TPM or secure boot. How to fix it? It's actually quite simple. First, you back out of this menu, and then I want you to press Shift F10. And then we're going to get the command line, and we're going to type reg edit. This is going to bring up the registry editor. And from here, I want you to navigate to local machine, system, setup. Now once you're in here, I want you to click on setup and create a new key. And you're gonna name this lab config. Exactly like that. Inside this, make sure this is selected, right click and make a new key. And this is gonna be D word 32-bit key. We're gonna make two of them. The first one is gonna be to bypass the secure boot. So it's gonna be bypass secure boot check. Then click enter again, and change the value to 1. So now we're gonna make another one for the TPM. Right click, new, DWORD 32-bit, and as you might have guessed, this one is gonna be bypass TPM check. Click enter again, and then you want the value to be 1. Click OK. And that's pretty much it. You exit this, click next, it's gonna do the check again. And now it's gonna let you install it. It will just install like normal. So this is really all about it. It's just about adding two registry keys to bypass the secure boot and TPM. A lot of people like to overcomplicate it and like make custom ISOs or whatnot. And then every time that there is a new update and they need to update the ISO, they have to make the new custom ISO all over again. When in reality, it only really takes you 1 minute to add the registry keys in any ISO, and you don't need any custom ISO. You can just use the official Microsoft one and it will work just fine. So after this installs, I will show you how to bypass the Microsoft account requirement. Alright, now it's done installing, and now we're in the setup phase. So I'm gonna click yes. And this machine is connected to the internet. So it's gonna detect that and it's gonna ask me to create an account or use an already existing one. Alright, it's asking for a device name. I'm just gonna skip for now. And we are at the screen. It says, let's add your Microsoft account. And there is no any way to avoid. If I click just next, it's gonna say, valid email address. It's gonna ask you to create one if you don't have an account. And you can't even go back from the screen. If you click back, it will just load and then it'll bring you back to the screen. So you're pretty much locked at the screen. Like, there is no any solution unless you give them an account or create one at this screen. So now what you're gonna do, you're gonna make sure this machine is not connected to the internet. Make sure this machine has no Wi-Fi connection. And if it's plugged in to Ethernet, just unplug that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. All right, so I disconnected this machine, and then I'm gonna click the back arrow. So this time we actually got lucky and actually let me just use the machine without an account by just simply disconnecting the internet connection. But it's not always the case. So I'm gonna restart the machine, and I'm gonna show you what happens if you don't get lucky. All right, so now I've restarted with the machine completely unplugged, it's not connected to the internet, and it won't let me continue. Like you cannot press next unless you give it a connection. And if your machine has Wi-Fi, it will show you the Wi-Fi networks and it will force you to select the network in order to continue the setup. There is no way backing out of this, and there is no way pressing next. Alright, so let's say now that you're stuck at this screen, and now it's forcing you to have an internet connection in order to continue the setup. So here's what you're gonna do. You press Shift F10, it's gonna bring the command prompt. And this time you want the task manager. So you're gonna type task mgr. Press enter. And you're gonna look for network connection flow. This exact process, network connection flow. And then you simply just press end task. Exit, and it will just bring you to the screen. And now you can give this machine any name. And press next. You don't need to give it a password. Get rid of all these trackers. accept, and it should work just fine. So now the setup's complete. You have installed Windows 11 with no TPM required, secure boot, or an account. So now you can pretty much plug in your internet back in and continue using the machines as intended. It's not going to ask you to create an account after. As long you install it without an account, you can use it without an account. So that's about it for this video. In the next video, I'm going to show you what to do after Windows installation, how to clean up, deploy it, get rid of unnecessary stuff, and have a better overall experience. Hopefully this was useful and informative enough. I'm going to peace out, and I hope to see you in the next video. See ya.